Hey everyone, this is Brian here from Massey's Main Entertainment. We're returned for our week 4 of this journey to find the best album of the 1970s, and that means Sweet 16. In honor of March Madness, we put together an NCAA style tournament bracket of 64 of the best albums from the 1970s, and our job was to decide what album truly is the champion of that decade. Joining me again are the rest of the starting lineup here. I get a little bit of basketball stuff going. Our backcourt is going to be featuring Randy Nelson. He's like the only one who probably didn't get hammered by the weather this past weekend. Also in the backcourt is Sam St. John, who had his best showing last week with the round of 32. Our front court consists of Doc, who spent most of the day confusing us with concepts like centimeters and Celsius. And finally, Rich Strickler, who said he voted for Barbie for best movie, not from last year, but of all time. So kind of a surprise there. I'm putting links to your YouTube channels below here, guys. And Doc, do you have any word about your fan club yet? Any word?
No, not yet, buddy. I'll keep you posted.
Okay, all right. I'm just checking. Anyway, this is how it breaks down. We're in this last round here. We're in the round here of Sweet 16. In this video, we're going to be covering all the brackets again because we only have 8 games that we have to go through. I'll introduce the matchups and do a quick plug for them. Let everyone chime in briefly if they want, but then we're just going to simply vote on it. I mean, we've discussed these albums quite a bit already, so probably blow right through this. We'll rotate our votes like we do all the time. With each one, so that gives a little bit of extra power to the person who gets to vote last, just in case there's a close matchup. And I encourage anyone who was the lone minority vote for a particular album, chime in and tell us why you stuck to your guns on that one. And remember, everyone out there, this is just for fun. I know some people get kind of upset when their album finally gets kicked out, and but you know, we're just trying to have some fun here. So, guys, before we get started, which one of these Sweet 16 most surprised you? And then which one do you expect to keep on cruising through? Any ideas?
Go ahead, Sam.
To me, based on my taste, I'm surprised that where'd it go? I'm surprised that Physical Graffiti has made it as far as it has, because that's never been a big album for me. But the fact that it's still kind of hanging in there is a testament to how it's loved by so many others. I think that Dark Side's going to be the no-brainer. I think Dark Side is going to go right through, possibly all the way to the end. I think it's going to be a bloodbath at the very end of things, but those are kind of my 2 initial thoughts.
Yeah,
Rich,
I don't really have any surprises. I think all 16 of these albums are really good, and they had to beat at minimum, or they had to beat 2 albums to get here, so they've done some damage. I think I agree with Sam, though. Dark Side is the cream of the crop, and we'll see if he gets knocked out. I think it's the best album left.
we lost Randy there for a second. So, Doc, you want to go ahead and?
Yeah, I mean, but I would probably lean a little bit more towards Rich here. The same idea. Like these are all, yeah, okay. Tapestry would be a surprise for me, only because it took a Highway to Hell. But outside that, listen, these are all pretty deserving, I think, at this stage to be where they're hanging around here for a reason, man. These are all really good albums at one level or another, no matter which way you cut and listen to music, anything else like that. I wouldn't harp too much on the Dark Side because I'd probably echo the same thoughts there as well as the guys. But when you get right down to it, you got some awesome albums of the 70s here, and we got some good ones we're going to have come out in the end. And yeah, it's going to get close once we get down to the end, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to pause the video just for a second. Let Randy catch up with us here. All right, guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Randy. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the biggest surprise, of course, to me is that Madman is still here because they beat Exile. But the other surprise is maybe the Cars beating London Calling.
Yeah.
But the one I think that has the most smooth sailing would probably be Dark Side. I think that's the weakest bracket, but that's just me.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll get started here. Get crushing on this thing, as the young people might want to say. I don't know. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and start in the West here. Get this thing moving. We got first up again, our #1 overall pick again, which was Dark Side of the Moon. It's going to be doing battle tonight with the elegantly written Tapestry from Mrs. Carole King. She was a 5 seed that's advanced pretty steadily here and had some good votes along the way. Randy, you get the first word on this.
Well, looking at these two, you have the kind of prog rock masterpiece and Dark Side that flows so well, or you have the singer-songwriter masterpiece and Tapestry, Carole King's best album. And I guess just depends on personal taste, but I'm going to go with Dark Side for this one.
Okay. Rich, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on record as saying Dark Side is the best album left of the 16. That's debatable. There's 4 or 5 others that could knock it off. But in this round, I'm taking Dark Side. Carole King is a fantastic album, but it's going to come up a little short here.
Okay. Sam?
Yeah, again, I mean, if you were to come to my place and look at my record collection, it's going to line up more with the Carole King type tunes, as I'm sure, with Rich as well. But at the end of the day, again, how the album flows, and again, nothing against Carole King. She just kind of got dealt a poor hand here.
Yeah.
If you were talking best singer-songwriter albums, that one might be the Dark Side, of the singer-songwriter albums.
Mhm.
But you can't put her up against Dark Side and not have her advance. I mean, I had not have Dark Side advance, so Dark Side for me, again, easy pick.
Okay. Well, I'm going to head and make it 4. And Dark Side of the Moon, to me, just seemed like the clear pick here. I did grow fonder of Tapestry over the last 2 years, but just not that fond to where I'm going to vote out Dark Side of the Moon for it. Doc, what do you think? Final word there.
Well, the final word sounds like the other 4 words, man. It's Dark Side. Yeah, Tapestry's great. Once again, it's just another level for me on what the appeals and everything else, and it obviously does with the rest of the guys here too. So it's Dark Side. That was pretty easy for me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to the other matchup in the West. We got Marvin Gaye's socio-political masterpiece, What's Going On? He's lined up against Moondance by Van Morrison, another album appearing on this list that seems to be on cruise control. It doesn't seem to have a whole lot of things that have stood in its way. So, Doc, you're going to get first word on this one.
Once again, I think I got the short end, man. But whatever the case, it's yeah, this is tough. This is I got 2 really tough categories. 3 that were really tough, to be honest with you. This is one of them. If I get right down to it, we've talked about the albums in the past, and they both have really something special behind them, each of them. But if I'm going to get right down to it, What's Going On has something just a little bit more special in the end. The meaning behind it, everything else, and the significance of the album, I think, comes into play maybe at this stage too. So, yeah, Moondance is awesome, and I just think What's Going On is, as Rich would have it, it's one of those 51-49 kind of votes there, man. It's really damn close, but I'm going What's Going On.
Okay. Randy?
Yeah, I know What's Going On in that Rolling Stone 500. I don't know if it was last time they did it or time before that. It was listed as the best album of all time.
The 2020 list.
Yeah, but it's going against Moondance, who Van Morrison is indeed my favorite singer, and I just think there's so many great tunes on this. It's probably his most accessible album to everybody, and even though I hate to do it, I'm going to pick Moondance over What's Going On.
All right. What do you think, Rich?
I hate to do it too, but I'm going with Moondance. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. I love What's Going On. I love the message of it, the theme of it, the way it's presented, performed, everything about it, the topics. It was perfect. But Moondance is in my top dozen albums ever. And I'm going with it and let you guys decide who moves on.
Okay. All right, Sam, what do you say?
Yeah, again, it's one of those things. You have one album that actually is an album.
Right.
I mean, What's Going On is like a film with putting on the vinyl, listening to it. You're sitting there. Best not to have your phone in your hand or anything like that. Just listen to the album.
Mm-hmm.
It flows. It's thematic. It's almost like an Astral Weeks for Marvin Gaye. To use the Van Morrison. The songs don't necessarily all sound too different from one another, but they work. But then you have Moondance, that is just it's Van at his poppy best. It's the most radio friendly record that he ever put out. It's in my top 2 or 3 favorite Van Morrison albums. It's probably in my favorite I think it's like in my favorite 50 at least albums of all time. So Moondance for me makes the grade.
Jeez.
Okay. Well, since it's already moved through now, thanks to Sam, I don't have to weigh in about why I voted the way I vote, but I'm just going to tell you that I would have voted for Moondance as well.
Really, I'm surprised. Okay.
I do like Marvin Gaye's album, but I feel like I can be in almost any type of mood to listen to Moondance, but I have to be in a particular mood to listen to Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. So I picked Moondance for just being a little bit more accessible in everyday life. So 4-1, Moondance will move through. Moving down to the Midwest, we got First on Deck. We got that rock juggernaut Who's Next by who else but the Who. Sounds like a little bit of an Abbott and Costello bit. Goes against the reigning Cinderella album of the bunch, Madman Across the Water by Sir Elton John. The big surprise really in our Sweet 16 here. I guess I'm the first one to speak here, and I'm gonna honestly, guys, I think it's over for Cinderella. I really do like the album. It's my favorite Elton John album, but Who's Next is just too good. I think it's maybe the second or third best rock album period of all time. If you talk about pure rock and roll, I'm going to go with Who's Next here. So Doc, what do you think?
It's almost like the exact same sentiments. It's probably I like a lot of old Elton John, man. Don't get me wrong. Honky Chateau, I like all of it in this era, in this realm here. This is a fantastic album, Madman. But Who's Next is like top tier for me, man. It's in my top 5 albums of all time. So I don't know what to say, man. Yeah, the Who is moving on for me, man. That's where I'm going for sure.
All right, Randy.
Yeah, even though Madman beat out Exile, which I didn't expect, I did vote for it the next week against the great Neil Young album Harvest. But it's just going up against one of the best rock albums ever. And even though it's my favorite Elton John album, I just don't think it's as good as Who's Next. And I'm picking Who's Next.
All right, Rich.
Same here. I mean, I love Elton John. I love that early 70s catalog. Very dear to me. But Who's Next is in the rarefied air, and it's moving on for me.
Okay. And Sam, last word?
Well, I'm going to be the Doc of this round, and I'm going to go with Madman. Because I'm gonna reach for Madman. Madman ranks much higher in my list of favorite albums of all time over Who's Next, and I think Who's Next is pretty close to perfect. I won't say the song that bothers me, but because Randy will hit me. But I love all the deep cuts on Madman. I've said it the last couple of episodes, and it's the album I'm going to reach for 9 times out of 10 over Who's Next. So Madman for me. But
all right, that's all right. Vote. You got to vote how you feel, man.
Stand up for yourself, Sam. Way to stand
That's
up.
the way to go, Sam.
That's right,
the
man.
power. Yeah.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to that bottom of the Midwest bracket, which I think would have been the one I spent the most time on anyway, in the long run. No, anyway. Let's see. We got the Hotel California by the Eagles. They're going to be butting heads against maybe that other rock album that is considered one of the best rock and roll albums of all time, Led Zeppelin, and that iconic number 4 album, or Zoso, or Symbols, all sorts of different things that it's called. Sam, you actually get the first word on this one, my friend. How did you go?
This was the last one that I circled. I wrote out my bracket by hand and did the 3 on this side. I did the 4 on the other division, and this is the last one that I circled because I had to go back and forth. I was thinking, which one do I reach for? Like right now at this time of my life, which one am I going to listen to? Which one do I maybe not get the same? Which one do I get the buzz off of a little bit more? And for this particular time of my life, I'm probably going to go with the shocker, and I'm going to pick Zeppelin 4 over Hotel California. Even though, again, I'm probably more familiar with Hotel California of late because of Rich and I doing our video. But for some reason, I was in a Zeppelin mood when this bracket came out, and so that's the one I'm going with. But I mean, it's a flip, but song for song, Zeppelin's going to beat it out for me.
Okay, I'm gonna agree with Sam here for my vote. I'm taking Led Zeppelin as well. I think I'm not a huge Eagles fan, Not that I don't appreciate them, but this album I feel like is just too good. I think I like every track on there would at least have like a 7.25 or higher for me. So there's no filler in there. I'm sure somebody might feel different about a couple of the tracks, but I like I said before, When the Levee Breaks, one of my favorite songs of all time. So Led Zeppelin for me, guys. Doc?
Yeah, this was the hardest one, if you want the truth. Because it all depends, right? You look at that Hotel California list. Hotel California, New Kid, Life in the Fast Lane, Wasted Time. It's my favorite song on the album. My favorite Eagles song. But then all the other stuff, right? Pretty Maids and The Last Resort. Look, man, everything on that album is 8s and higher in my eyes. So it's a fantastic album. And then you got the number 4 from Zepp, man. It's like like you said, The Levee Breaks on the one, and you got Black. Listen, the album's a rock, iconic rock album, is what it is. Coins in the Air, man, and As It Lands. I guess I'm gonna. This is as close as it gets in my eyes, man. I'm taking Zeppelin 4.
Okay. All right, Randy.
Yeah, Hotel California is probably the first Eagles album I bought when it came out, and it's probably my favorite Eagles album. But I just think you can't get much better as a rock album than Led Zeppelin 4, which sets up 2 of the best rock albums going against each other next week, and who's next in Led Zeppelin 4.
Yeah.
But I'm picking Led Zeppelin 4.
Okay. Rich, you get the final word here, bud.
Yeah, it will surprise some people because they know how much I love the Eagles and Hotel California. But Led Zeppelin 4, I'm looking forward to that matchup against who's next week. I think it's a better album, better rock album. But, if the Eagles were going up against any other Led Zeppelin album except 2 and 4, I would have taken Hotel, but not in this matchup. I'm going with Led Zeppelin 4.
All right. That's a unanimous one there. Okay, let's move over to the east side. And we really don't catch a break here from Zeppelin anyway. We actually have in the East bracket Fleetwood Mac holding on to that number 1 after crushing past most of their challengers. And it's going to go up against, what Sam considered the surprise of the bunch, Led Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti. Rich, you get the first word on this one. How do you feel about this one?
I think this is a frigging landslide. Rumours, period.
Sam?
Yeah, I'll echo that. I mean, I've said it every week. Physical Graffiti just isn't the album for me, and Rumours is just smack dab in my wheelhouse. So I'm gonna easy pick for me. Rumours.
Yeah, this one was like, if I said the other, the Led Zeppelin and Hotel took me the longest, this took me the, I don't know, 0.0002 seconds or something like that to decide that it was Rumours. My brain knew it was Rumours before I even picked up a pen, right? So I'll take Rumours as well. So, Doc?
Yeah, that'll go 4 in a row, man. That was pretty easy for me to write down as well. Don't have to harp on it, man. It just Rumours is a better album than Physical Graffiti in my eyes, and quite obviously your 3 so far. So we'll see what Randy says, but
right.
That's where I put this. Yeah.
Okay, Randy.
Well, I started looking at my list of my favorite albums of all time, and actually last week I should have picked the Simon and Garfunkel one according to my own list, even though I picked Physical Graffiti. But that's water under the bridge over troubled water. But I'm going to play the Sam St. John card on this one, the overplayed thing. And I go, which album would I really reach for more to play? And I'm going to pick Physical Graffiti, even though it's losing. Even though it's losing.
Wow.
Nice.
All right. I like this. Let's move on down to the bottom half of that one, the other matchup in the East. We've got Stevie Wonder in that double powered album, Songs in the Key of Life. Facing yet another slight Cinderella album, the debut album from The Cars. Randy, you're going to get the first word on this one. What are your thoughts?
Well, this was a tough one. You got The Cars, where almost every song was played on the radio. And then you got Songs in the Key of Life, has some of Stevie's best hits. And I like even the deeper tracks on that one. So in a way, it's not fair because you're getting 2 records worth of Stevie songs against the Cars, and I'm going to pick Songs in the Key of Life
Okay.
to go on.
All right. Rich?
Well, I know Songs in the Key of Life is per se a better album, but I'm taking the Cars as a special place in my heart, and I like the Cinderella story, so let's keep them alive for a bit.
All right. Sam?
I'm going to switch it back to Stevie Wonder for this one because, again, I'm not a new wavy kind of guy, even though I respect that album a lot. Again, I give Rich a lot of credit for making me like that album a lot more because now I do enjoy that album when I didn't think I used to. But Songs in the Key of Life, again, holds a special place. Saw him on that tour the second time, not the first time. Yeah, Songs in the Key of Life for me.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. I was going to make it really difficult for Doc and see if I could put him on the hot seat, but he's already mad enough at me at all for the way it's been said. I'm taking Songs in the Key of Life as well. I love that Cars album. I love it a lot, but I like Stevie's run in the 70s a lot more than that. So Songs is moving on for me. Doc, you do get the final word here, though.
It would have been interesting if it got there because I would have had the Cars if you want the truth. So,
Wow.
That's where I would have, since we're going to go back on that whole thing, I'm reaching for that Cars album before I'm reaching for Songs in the Key. That's well, it's got a special spot for Rich, actually. So, yeah.
Nice.
Fantastic. I love that. That's a 3-2 vote. That's our closest one.
Yeah.
That's
I was just going to say that's our closest battle so far. Nice.
Man, that's great. All right, let's get ready to wrap this up. Finally, in the South bracket, the Boss hopes to keep running through the competition as his masterpiece, Born to Run, has to take on the best songwriter solo artist from the 60s, Mr. Bob Dylan. But this is his iconic Blood on the Tracks from 1975, I believe. So, Doc, you get to go first on this.
Yeah, thanks. Again.
Yeah.
Do I just like rip the Band-Aid off and get it over with, or do I just say, all right, let's do the deep dive? I think I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. Like, coin in the air. Here you go again. True to myself, I'm putting on Born to Run. So I'm taking Springsteen here.
Okay. Randy?
This is probably the toughest one in everything we've done because, and it's kind of unfair. These are in the same bracket because it's my 3rd favorite album of all time against my 4th favorite album of all time. So I'm going to, even though I hate to do it, I'm going with my 3rd, which is the Bob Dylan's divorce masterpiece, Blood on the Tracks.
Okay. All right. Rich?
Well, 2 great albums from the same year, 1975. But I'd be dishonest with myself if I didn't take Bruce. I've seen him 6 times in concert. I've seen Dylan 0 times in concert, so it's easy for me. Born to Run.
All right. Sam, what do you say?
Well, I'm going to make it very difficult for Brian is what I'm going to do.
He's shaking his head.
you know how I feel. Randy and I agreed on this when he revealed his list to us the other week. This is my 3rd favorite album of all time, Blood on the Tracks. It to me, again, didn't have to bat an eye. It slams Bruce into the Thunder Road. So Blood on the Tracks.
I wouldn't say that.
You see, Randy, I will say it so that you don't have to, but I know.
All right. Wow. I didn't think it was going to come to this. Honestly, I thought it was going to be legitimately going the other way. So, guys, I'm taking Blood on the Tracks.
Let's go.
To be more true to myself, I'm a much bigger Bob Dylan fan than I am a Bruce fan. I do like Born to Run a lot. I like every track on there. But, man, I've just been a fan of Dylan, over the last 7 years. And this is, even just being my 3rd favorite, maybe Dylan album, it's still just way past Born to Run in my eye. So I got to stay true to myself. I'm taking Blood on the Tracks over Born to Run. So
a 1 seed down.
Back to back 3-2 matchups, man. Oof. It's getting tight.
This one's not going to be any easier either, guys.
No, I don't think it will be easy.
So lastly here in the bottom of the South, David Bowie has got to turn into his counterpart Ziggy Stardust in hopes of surviving this matchup as he takes on the number 2 seed in the South, Pink Floyd's other album, Wish You Were Here. These are two very special albums. I have the first pick here. I'm going to pull the Band-Aid faster this time. I'm sticking. I love Ziggy Stardust, but I'm sticking with Wish You Were Here. That's like, it's one of my favorite albums of all time. It's my favorite Pink Floyd album. So I'm staying true to myself and taking Wish You Were Here. So Doc, what do you think?
I think you got into that too. Yeah, this is. I feel like walking out of my boat right now. If you want the truth, man, that's how bad this one is. This is. Yeah, this is tough, man. Like Bowie's Ziggy and Floyd's Wish. I got to be real. So things change in life, everything happens in life, and everything else. But I'm with you, Brian. I'm taking Wish You Were Here.
Okay, Randy.
Looks like I'm going to push it past because Wish You Were Here is my favorite Pink Floyd album, and it's probably my favorite Pink Floyd song is the title track. And even though I love Ziggy Stardust, I'm picking Wish You Were Here.
Okay. Rich, thoughts?
Pretty tight. I mean, I love the song Wish You Were Here. I don't love the album as much as all three of you guys so far have professed to love it. I'm taking Ziggy. I think it has more for my personal liking. I think it's peak Bowie. I love the 5 years opening track, and it just goes on from there. I'm going to take Ziggy Stardust in a mild upset, even though it's not going to win.
Okay. And Sam, you get the final word here, bud.
Yeah, it's interesting because again, these are two albums I don't reach for a lot. I like Pink Floyd albums better than Wish You Were Here. I'm not a Bowie guy. But if we had gone in a different order, we could have made this very interesting because this is going to be our third 3-2.
Wow.
So I'll pick Ziggy as well over Wish You Were Here, even though, again, I think the title track slam dunks anything on Ziggy. But again, as an album, Ziggy to me is just a better album. So make that a 3-2.
Oh, wow. That's 3 3-2s right in a row. So, real a recap here, guys. I mean, we've got moving through to the Elite Eight, Dark Side of the Moon, which will be matched up next week against Moondance. Who's Next will be matched up against Led Zeppelin 4, which that is going to be brutal. Rumours may have the easier track. I don't know how this is going to pan out against Songs in the Key of Life. And then the surprise Blood on the Tracks is going to be matched up against Wish You Were Here in the South. So that's our 8. What do you think, guys? Be honest. I mean, do you feel like this 8 is the 8 if you were putting together a top 8 albums of all time?
No.
Doesn't feel like
for me. Right? For me, but any other bracket, Born to Run would win, but they were in the wrong one for me.
Yeah, I had to vote or let go of two of my favorite albums in this series here. Hotel California and Born to Run both got 86. They're out of the community, and Ziggy. So there's a lot of good albums that go by the boards, but it's going to be an interesting Elite Eight. I think that matchup of Who's Next and Led Zeppelin is the prime matchup, obviously.
It is interesting to I mean, we knocked out a 1 and a 2 those last 2 picks. That was big. Born to Run and Wish You Were Here were 1 and a 2. And that was the first number 1 to leave. So it's gonna be tough next week. But yeah, these don't match what I would choose. I mean, again, I can't imagine Ziggy Stardust ever making a top 200 albums for me, but here we are with it in the final.
Ziggy lost, didn't it? Right?
Well, Ziggy lost.
Ziggy lost. Well, I mean, okay. Well, I can't imagine Wish You Were Here being in my, in my top 200. So it goes both ways.
Interchangeable, right?
Right. So,
but anyway, everybody, please, thank you for watching. Please check out the guys' links down below. Also, check out our other videos in this series to see how we got where we're at today. Like, sub, comment. Make sure you leave who you think should have advanced as well. We really appreciate it. Join us next week when we start filming the Elite Eight. So until next time, guys, everybody take care.